A little bit for us. Okay, so we're ready to begin. So good morning. It's my joy to welcome you here to the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee live online streaming service. I'm Reverend Pam Brandman, the senior minister here at the center, and our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all while awakening to the one. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but they all end in oneness and in love. So we are grateful that you are here with us today. We begin our service with our receptivity statement, which you'll see on the screen in front of you. And if you would read along with me, I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. Our musician today, Colleen Akiko, is not only an inspired musician and songwriter, but she is also a transformational coach and Reiki master. Well, that's where that love comes through in her music. She calls her coaching business Change from the Inside Out, which is just what we are talking about today. So if you would, and we had the joy of hearing her wonderful music during meditation this morning, so we know we're on the right track. Join with me in welcoming Colleen Akiko.
Hey. We hear a lot of references to the times we're navigating through right now, and it comes to mind that sometimes we just feel like we're a lost sheep, maybe dodging all kinds of scary things. And I'd love for each of you to just receive this, the heartbeat of this song, and know that no matter how we may feel in lostness or exhaustion or whatever it is, despair, that we have a shepherd that is always, always with us, no matter what. And it helps us sometimes to imagine the story, and just like imagining meeting our helper at the top of a mountain. So we can imagine being that little lamb and feeling the love of the shepherd who would abandon all to take care of us. That's the song. Early morn, where the mountains meet the sky. A lamb is born under shepherd's watchful eye. The lamb is weak and needing special care, so the shepherd stays right there for days and nights. He's gonna bring his lamb alive, 'cause the shepherd loves his lamb. Shepherd loves his little lamb. In all the universe, there's nobody can love like the shepherd loves his lamb. The grass is sweet and the lamb is getting strong. The shepherd sees that the lamb he loves is gone. sheep, where did he go? And they sadly say, we do not know. So shepherd leaves, he's gonna bring his lamb back home, 'cause the shepherd loves his lamb. Shepherd loves his little lamb. In all the universe, there's nobody can love like the shepherd loves his lamb. He loves that lamb. Is cold, and the lamb is so afraid. The wolves are close, why had he gone astray? And as the wolves move in to make the kill, suddenly their growls are stilled, and they run away. The shepherd's calling out his name. Here I am, cries the little lamb. The shepherd runs to take him in his arms, and he holds that lamb right next to his heart. Shepherd loves his lamb. Shepherd loves his little lamb. In all the universe, there's nobody can love like the shepherd loves his lamb. Shepherd loves his lamb. We are his lambs. We are his little lamb. In all the universe, there's nobody can love like them. How the shepherd loves, oh, how the shepherd loves his lamb.
Thank you so much, Colleen. So it's a great morning so far. So our practitioner today is Shirley Clark, and she led us on a wonderful guided meditation through the desert by a stream this morning. And she has been a practitioner for almost 10 years now. One of the spiritual practices that Shirley likes to incorporate into her Science of Mind work is a monthly sweat lodge, although I think it may be on hold during the pandemic. But Shirley told me that she spent a lot of time investigating the shift from fear to faith when she was in her practitioner study. So she's well prepared for our talk this morning. So welcome to our Sunday service, Shirley.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. My notes show that we have an invocation, affirmative prayer in this slot. And so I'd just like to continue that theme of the shepherd and the lamb. And how there is no greater love than spirit, that love that is shared between all. And that love is the most powerful force in the universe. It moves mountains. It creates relationships that bridge difficulties and joyous events. It binds us all together. Love, beauty, joy, strength, support, clarity, all attributes of the one and all attributes of each and every person or mountain or pet or stream. It is all energy, and it is all interacting different aspects of the one. And it is all good. And it is a joy to share and to bring each and every aspect together. And so I claim that goodness and just kind of like shout it out, the gratitude for knowing, for trusting that goodness is always there. And knowing that goodness is always there, I just release all of these words into the universe, claiming them each as belonging to each one of us. And knowing that it is all good, together we say, and so it is. So this morning's reading comes from Science of Mind on page 156. A little part of that chapter called Misplaced Faith. Someone has said that the entire world is suffering from one big fear, the fear that God will not answer our prayers. Let us analyze the fears that possess us and see if this is true. The fear of lack is nothing more than the belief that God does not or will not supply us with whatever we need. The fear of death is the belief that the promises of eternal life may not be true. The fear of loss of health, loss of friends, loss of property, all arise from the belief that God is not all that we claim. Omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. What is fear? Nothing more nor less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced. A belief in two powers instead of one. A belief that there can be a power opposed to God, whose influence and ability may bring us evil. In other words, to correct all the evils of the world would be but to have the positive faith rightly placed, a faith that lays hold of the integrity of the universe, the beneficence of God, and the unity of all life. Nevertheless, we cannot have faith in that which we do not, in some measure, understand. Understanding faith. We wish a faith based on the knowledge that there is nothing to fear. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The thought of faith molds the undifferentiated substance and brings into manifestation the thing which was fashioned in the mind. This is how faith brings our desires to pass. When we use our creative imagination and strong faith, it will create for us, out of the one substance, whatever we have formed in thought. In this way, man becomes a co-creator with God. There will never be an end to any of the eternal verities like truth, love, and beauty. There will never be an end to God, nor to any of the attributes which are co-eternal and co-existent with God. If we are wise, we shall cultivate a faith in these realities. This is not a difficult task, but a thrilling experience. And so it is.
All right, thank you, Shirley. And now it's time for a little more music from Colleen.
So to tag on that, here's some substance for us. And I invite you to just breathe in. I'm going to kind of start it kind of slower, where at the beginning, this is what, and we can make this personal for each of us. This is what I'm feeling. You know, we acknowledge with our minds and we just feel with our entire being the substance of our faith. And when we are aware of that experience, we kind of look from within to each of us, and we see that reality shining on each of our faces. And we acknowledge that. And, you know, just like Genesis says, you know, we say, this is good. And then we say, yeah, we see that in each other. And now what shall we do? And we acknowledge that, and we move on out into our world.
Complete, whole and perfect, growing deep in grace. I'm feeling heaven's love shining on my face, moving through illusions, swing in the truth, bringing in a brighter world with hope and gratitude. This is real. This is true. Breathing me, breathing you, in the one who is love. We are one. Complete, whole, perfect, growing deep in grace. I'm feeling heaven's love shining on my face, moving through illusions, soaring in the truth, bringing in a brighter world with hope and gratitude. This is real, this is true. Breathing me, breathing you, and the one who is love. We are here, we are one. whole and perfect, growing deep in grace. I'm seeing heaven's love shining on your face, moving through illusions, soaring in the truth, bringing in a brighter world with hope and gratitude. This is real, this is true. Breathing me, breathing you, in the one who is love. We are here, we are one. Complete, whole, and perfect, growing deep in grace. We're feeling heaven's love shining on our face, moving through illusions, soaring in the truth, bringing in a brighter world with hope and gratitude. This is real, this is true. Breathing me, breathing you, in the one who is love. We are here, we are one. Complete, whole, and perfect.
Thank you so much, Colleen. Complete, whole, and perfect. Definitely. So today, and well, actually during all of these, September, we've been talking about facing the fear. And it's a question of faith. Right? And our topic today is just do it. You know, it's about how our faith can move mountains. Right? And one person whose faith could move mountains was Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, affectionately known as RBG. She died on September 18th at the age of 87. She was the second woman sworn into the U.S. Supreme Court, where she served from 1993 to 2020, a long time. And lying in state in the Capitol building, she was the first woman and the first Jewish person to be so honored. Even in death, RBG broke barriers. Now, Rosa Parks also was in the Capitol building, but she had the lesser private person status of lying in honor as opposed to lying in state. So this is an important milestone. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg graduated first in her law school class at Columbia University, no one would hire her because she was a woman. She became a teacher. She wanted to work. And then she became a law school professor so she could put her brilliant mind to work. But RBG knew that she and all women deserve to be treated as equals, because we are. As an attorney, one by one, she won strategic cases that eliminated the legal precedents that had confined women to a lesser status. Her legal prowess was recognized when she overcame the early obstacles and prejudice to join our nation's highest court. Once Ginsburg was on the Supreme Court, she continued to support the decisions to maintain equality and social justice for all people before the court, both men and women. Even when she found herself in the minority, she wrote her famous dissenting opinions as blueprints for the future generations, she called them, that would move in her direction. She felt that she was envisioning that future. Now, when I graduated from college, I remember that there were some insurance companies that would not give me car insurance because I was a single woman. Right? Some states would not even allow married women to get a credit card in their own name. You know, these situations are unthinkable to people born after Ruth Bader Ginsburg joined the Supreme Court. Things have changed. They don't even know what it was like before. You see, RBG could not get a job as an attorney as an outstanding law student. She set her vision on the future. And as a devout Jew, she had faith in God's support for her efforts. When Rabbi Lauren Holtzblatz recognized Ruth Bader Ginsburg as she was lying in state in the Capitol building on Friday, she read a prayer from Psalm 118:5 in Hebrew, which she translated this way: "From the narrow straits I call out to you. You, God, answered me with expanse." Rabbi Holtzblatz eloquently summarized the power of Ruth Bader Ginsburg to effect change by saying, "Justice did not arrive like a lightning bolt, but rather through the dogged persistence all the days of her life." RBG said that real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time. She saw that long-term future. And that faith in the future, in her vision, and in God allowed her to move mountains. Now, one of the Bible passages that has repeatedly called me to look deeper into its meaning is this statement by Jesus: "I tell you the truth, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. But this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting." And this is from Matthew. Now, when I first heard this statement, I was inspired to a deeper and stronger faith in the power of God to literally move the mountain. Faith as small as a little tiny mustard seed. But if you have ever experienced a strong earthquake, you know that this does happen. You know, our power as individual human beings pales in comparison to the mighty forces of earthquakes, of hurricanes, wildfires, and droughts that have shaped this planet. Right? And yet Jesus told his disciples that they could tell the mountain to move and it would move. The disciples could say that. How can we be so powerful? Is this the faith to move mountains that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had? Right? Perhaps the mountain that is moved by our faith is us. We are the mountain that the divine moves into action when we pray. You know, we say in that Jesus told us that it is done unto us as we believe. So the world changes outside when we change our beliefs on the inside. This is the mountain that we need to change. You know, and we hang on so tightly many times to what we know is right, which may not be, but we know it's right, so we hang on, and that keeps whatever it is that's in our way firmly locked in our path. So our inner healing is the path of faith, the power of faith, when we let go of our fear and just do it. Whatever Spirit calls us to do. So let's explore this idea of how we are the mountain that our faith can move. Now, Jesus instructed his disciples to nurture their faith by prayer and fasting. These are the instructions, the key to how this works. Prayer is when we take the time to be still and pray, to commune with the Spirit that resides within us, and to listen to divine wisdom. We align our consciousness with God, with the one universal mind that knows all, so we can see that spiritual truth in the infinite possibilities, the higher possibilities in a specific situation. Now, fasting is equally important on several levels. First, fasting means that we refrain from doing the everyday things that distract us. And instead we focus on the spiritual truth of who we are, a beloved expression of the divine, like that little lamb looking to the divine to be our protector and our source, right? But fasting also means that we stop believing that the physical world is real and unchangeable. It is not an immovable mountain. Okay, let me say this again. The physical world is not the unchangeable, right? It is not an immovable mountain. It is always changing, continuously changing. And we're in our thought is controlling what is manifesting into the world, guiding it into the manifestation. Now, to many of you, I'm sure this sounds like a radical and unbelievable statement. I know physics, this is it. So let's build it up slowly, all right? So this month, we've been talking about facing the fear. As we move from fear to faith, we shift from seeing the world outside ourselves to seeing something separate from us, to realizing that all of creation, including us, has been created by God from itself. And all of the universe, all of us, everything that is there is interconnected. We have never, ever been separate from God except in our minds. The one divine creative force is the same life force that is alive in me and in you, very much alive. This is the spiritual principle of oneness, of wholeness. We cannot look at one part of the universe, including ourselves, without considering the rest of the universe. It's like taking one drop of water out of the ocean and saying, this is all the ocean. No, it's just a part of it all. David Baum was an amazing physicist, philosopher, and explorer of amazing ideas. There's a great documentary movie that's come out recently called Infinite Potential, The Life and Ideas of David Baum. And if you hurry, you can watch it online for free until September 30th on www.infinitepotential.com. After September 30th, I don't know what it's going to probably go into general, but it's available now. It's about an hour and 11 minutes. But David Baum was, as I said, a physicist, philosopher, and explorer of consciousness. He lived from 1917 to 1992. He integrated the theories of quantum physics and relativity with the spiritual principles like wholeness. He was bridging that gap between science and spirituality. This amazing man, Einstein called Baum his spiritual son. The Dalai Lama called Baum his science guru. In later years, Baum collaborated with Krishnamurti for 25 years to explore the interface between science and spirituality. They had these amazing conversations because that conversation would bring things up to their conscious awareness that they understood at that deep level but needed to come out to that conscious level. So here's the point that is explained so well in the movie. It's very difficult, but the movie's great at explaining it. Everything that seems to exist in the physical world only exists because we believe it exists. The whole universe is interconnected at the quantum level of energy and subatomic particles. We cannot analyze the universe by cutting it up into little pieces and then saying that, but each piece affects all the other pieces. If you have a butterfly and you cut it up into little pieces, you no longer have a butterfly that's alive. It can't fly anymore. You've just got pieces. So it's how it all interacts. It's how we all interact. That's what's important. What Baum called the implicate universe is essentially that everything that can ever exist already exists in a potential form, waiting to manifest. Right? The very act of observation affects what happens in the world. And so it is our intention, our observing it, that brings it into manifestation from that potential. All of this probably sounds very complicated, but this is what spiritual mystics and metaphysicians have intuited for centuries about science. Holism, oneness, is the fundamental nature of the universe. The fundamental nature of the universe. The Dalai Lama said that David Baum opens our mind. If everything is interdependent, we have to take care of all people, the whole earth and the environment. It changes how we live our lives. Now here's the biggest leap. When we set our intention, when we choose what to believe, that is what manifests in the world. We are the observers that select what movie we're going to see, what our experience will be. In Science of Mind, we say, change your thinking, change your life. And so that is why we fast from thinking and worrying about what we do not want. And we start visualizing what we do want. We put our intention. In Science of Mind, we talk about there's a mold, and spirit just fills whatever that mold is. So if we don't like what we're seeing, get rid of that mold and put up the mold of what we do want. And it changes. And Baum is also telling us that the universe is always changing and evolving. The outer form is fluid and can be influenced by our beliefs. We co-create our world. We are the beginning. In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes said, we should be careful not to divide our mental house against itself. Having announced the law of liberty, we must not deny it. When we shall all know the truth, then ways and means and methods will be found for the freedom of all. The mold of acceptance is the measure of our experience. The infinite feels all molds and forever flows into new and greater ones. Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is a privilege of giving birth to it. We co-create, in other words. Now, in the Course in Miracles, it talks about the power of our mind. And one quote is, few appreciate the real power of the mind, and no one remains fully aware of it all the time. However, if you hope to spare yourself from fear, there are some things you must realize fully. The mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instance is creating. It is hard to recognize that thought and belief combine into a power surge that can literally move mountains. There's those mountains again. And the text goes on to say, both miracles and fear come from thoughts. They're two sides of the same coin. We choose which side we want to see. If we want to change what we fear or don't like, what we don't want in our lives, it is up to us to change what we believe. Up to us. Not everybody out there. It starts with us. Jerry Jampolsky famously summarized A Course in Miracles as, love is letting go of fear. Because fear is really nothing and love is everything. When we fight our fear, we give it strength. When we focus on love as the true quality of God, of the one life, we can envision the interconnected world that exists in harmony, peace, and love. So just do it. Take action. When we understand now how the universe works, how our thoughts and intention co-create the world, we believe that fear is a false thought that is dissolved by love. So this is what we do with this belief, how we transform the world. Paramhansa Yogananda came to America 100 years ago and founded the Self-Realization Fellowship and its many offshoots like Ananda retreat up in Grass Valley. And Yogananda said, belief in God and faith in God are different. A belief is valueless if you don't test it and live by it. Belief converted into experience becomes faith. Now in James, there's something by James the disciple said something very similar. Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. So if we just think it or tweet it and never do anything acting out in the world, it's just a thought, but it needs to come into action. So take your beliefs out and use them, put them to use. One of the things I remember from my childhood, my grandfather had a black 1950 Dodge. It was no frills. It was the basic model. He didn't pay 1 penny extra for any extra things on this 1950 Dodge. Big old wonderful car. When he died in 1957, 7 years later, we inherited a car and it had all of 5,000 miles on it. My grandfather had literally driven it to church on Sundays and back. My grandmother never did learn to drive, so she gave the car to my dad. But our family put that car to use. My mother, for the first time, had a car available every day. And it made a big difference in our family, so we put it to use. So we want to put our beliefs to use and move into action. Now there's two levels of action. There's the inner spiritual world and the outer physical world that we've been talking about. And our work on that inner spiritual level is extremely important. This is our spiritual practice. All right, we have to be clear on the inside, and then things shift on the outside. We got to do both. And so our inner work transforms not only our own consciousness, but the collective consciousness of the planet. Now there's a video that was created by a group called Uplift, which stands for Unity, Peace, and Love in the Field of Transcendence. And it's in a very energetic, wonderful video that you can check out yourself. But it talks about spiritual awakening. We are beings of light. Spiritual awakening is happening at a scale never before seen in the world. People across the world are waking up to that truth that we are beings of light who have the power to change our reality. That's Baum's idea, right? Finding out what the scientific evidence is discovering, what you can do to take part in this exciting evolution of love. And so there was a study that was done that's a basis of a lot of their work at Uplift. And there was a mediator, 1997, at the University of CSL in Germany. And they had this machine that could measure the photons that were being emitted from a person. And so the background emissions was 20 photons per second. So any person just sitting here, 20 photons per second are being emitted, because energy and matter, they're interchangeable. Now, when he used meditation techniques, such as the Kundalini meditation or the Dikker meditation on oneness, something that really focuses on us and aligning us with the one, there were brief and intermittent emissions of about 40,000 photons per second. Right, so they could measure when he was going into this consciousness, but it was just short little blips, and then it would go away, and then maybe it'd come back and go away. So this was a very trained meditator, and so he was really working hard, and it was somewhat frustrating to him. Well, they took a break, came back the next morning. Well, where the meditator was staying, there was a child who had a really severe cold, and the thought came to the meditator that this child needed light to heal. And so using a heart rhythm meditation, breathing in and breathing out love through his heart and directing it towards that child who was in a nearby building, the experimenters measured 100,000 photons per second that was sustained for half an hour. So when the heart energy is directed towards someone with a healing intention, that energy is 5,000 times more powerful than an untrained thought. 100,000 versus 20. And so this is how trained mediators sharing love, intention with the world transform the world. And as more of us take that time, so the Uplift is taking this idea and promoting that everyone take at least 5 or 10 minutes a day to meditate on love and share it with the world for healing. Each person can offset the energy of 5,000 non-meditators, of 5,000 people that are working against love is the wholeness, right? It's our collective consciousness. And so the video, if you choose to watch it, has many photos of joyful people of all ages meditating on love. Just that feeling of joyful bliss, right? And the creators, they had this enthusiastic long-term vision of transforming the world with love, peace, and oneness. Yeah. Since that video was uploaded onto the internet in August 25th, about a month ago, the video has had 74,000 views just in 1 month. So this inner level is very important. We also want to have that action on the outer level and the physical level. And so there are many ways that you can do it. And in your, in your family, you are sharing that love in opportunities in your life, in your work, whatever you're doing, even by staying home and wearing our mask. But with our center, we also have a lot of volunteer opportunities that you could support our center. So first one is vote. Whatever your vote is, do vote in person or by mail on November 3rd. An event we have coming up in our center is on November 22nd. We will be visioning for our future, listening to that inner spirit and that kind. What is the highest and best for our center? So we definitely want you to be there and be a part of that online experience. Your voice counts very much. Next month, October 24th, we have the Science of Earnest Mind movie that's a fundraiser. So you can help us to organize, to create a sense of community and fun hospitality with that event. And so there's lots of, call me if you would like to, if you feel called to do that. We also are looking for people that have IT skills and Zooming, live streaming, sound recording, filming, all of these things so we can improve our center's consistent music sound quality online on the Sundays and help us produce all of our events. We'd like to have a music program to showcase the local musicians during the pandemic. So that's always great fun to listen to these great musicians that we know. We'd like to have a program for youth in our community and our children. It would have to be online for now, but it would move back to being in person once the pandemic is over, because spiritual growth is so important for children of all ages and adults as well. Perhaps we could create a mindfulness class at the Boys and Girls Club or a music program or any other things that they'd love to have. All kinds of things. And our Tide money this month, we supported the Boys and Girls Club in their program that they have. Adopt a Highway comes up once a month. Always important. Help our center develop a social media program, perhaps a spiritual and physical immune system checkup group. That we could. There's a new book coming out that we could have a class around that. There's pastoral calls and interesting. A grief group, because we don't think about it, but there's a lot of grief and existential anxiety created by this pandemic, not just for our members, but the whole community could benefit from having a class like that. So there's many different things that we can do in the outer physical world, but faith without works is dead. So it's up to you. When you pray and meditate, you'll know. Spirit will guide you with clarity to see what is yours to do. And so embrace it with love and with joy and with gratitude. We change the world, change our thinking, change our life, and love truly is all there is. So let's take this into prayer. As we turn within, we feel that energy of the universe, of the one life that is God, that is whole, that is perfect, and that is our life right now. The life that interconnects all of the universe as one. Here and at the farthest corner of the universe, it is all one. We are interconnected. We live and move as one. And as we go within to that place in our heart of hearts, where God is always there waiting for us to take the time to be still and to listen. A place that is familiar, where we've been many times. But today, things have shifted. Things are a little different. It seems like we've redecorated our home. The walls have new wallpaper, new color. Some of the windows and doors have been moved around, some of the walls. Our inner world is refreshed. It is new and exciting. The place that we always thought we knew, we've outgrown it and we've remodeled to embrace a greater understanding of spirit, to allow our spirit to grow, to allow our existence on this earth to grow, to expand in service and in love. And our heart opens wide to embrace all of life. And this sense of deep love and compassion that fills our whole being, soothing out every tight spot, unfurling us. And it flows out into the world, the overflow, full to overflowing, one with universal mind. We are whole, we are one. God is peace, we are peace. God is joy, we are joy. God is love, and we are joy. We are love. It is that love that remakes the planet. Just as earthquakes, the wind and the water wear down the Grand Canyon to create this place of beauty. It is love that transforms the inner and the outer world. And so we allow our faith, that divine love, to move the mountain, to move us, to grow us. And as we do, as we let go of fear that we're not enough, a fear that things will never change, a fear that whatever worries us will continue. And instead we lift our eyes to the hills. We lift our eyes to the love of God. We lift our eyes to see the love of God around us everywhere manifesting. And so our hearts are open, full of love. And so as we breathe in wholeness, we breathe in love, we breathe out love. And bring in front of you someone in your life, in your family or a friend that is asking for healing. A little lamb, for we are the shepherd, God in form. And share that love with them. Hold them to your heart. Become one with them, loving them with that divine love. Breathing in love and breathing out through our heart chakra. And turn that love now to people on the planet everywhere that are suffering with the COVID-19 virus. And let that love flowing through you grow in even greater measure. Perhaps choose one person that comes to your mind's eye and shower them with that divine healing love. And as we do, not only are they healed, but we ourselves are healed. And our courage is greater. Our belief is transforming into faith, into wholeness, and knowing that love truly is all there is. God has created us from itself as one with deep, abiding love. And so as we continue to send forth that love, whatever situation in your life needs healing and transformation, share that love. See what was not going so well, where there's resistance. Find all of that within you dissolving, the fear dissolving. The path becomes clear. All the debris is cleared away, dissolved, and there is only the light of divine love flowing throughout the world. And as it flows into us through that crown chakra, throwing out into the world, surrounding the world with love, more and more. And it flows around the world, healing and loving everywhere, that light of love, that white light. And it comes back to us, blessed and multiplied. It comes back into our center, for our center, the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee, is a center of light, of love, of transformation. And so we welcome everyone here to be transformed, to discover the truth of who we each are, individually and collectively. And together we rise to that higher calling, to that higher existence of that perfection of the divine. We thank you, Father, Mother, God, to know this truth, to experience this truth, to see it working miracles everywhere, for the miracle of life itself, for the miracle of this day, of knowing and experiencing the light and love of God, of wholeness. We gratefully embrace it with all of our being, and we release it, knowing that it is infinite and ever present. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this truth, now and always. And together we anchor this prayer by saying together, and so it is. And so as we come back to this room, Colleen will bring us back with one last song, or one more song.
This is a familiar song, and it's one that we can sing from that sense of love that we're still feeling. And that is the most appropriate way to express this song. So from that place of love, we say, back down. We stand in love. Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. Can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I stand my ground. Won't be turned around. I'll keep this world from dragging me down, but I stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I'll stand by
storm pushing me around, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, yeah, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, yeah, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I won't back down. Hey, yeah, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. No, I won't back down. I'm gonna stand my ground. No, I won't back down. Gonna stand my ground.
All right. Thank you, Colleen. So this is our time of prosperity.
I need the permission to share my screen.
Okay, good. Yeah. Fix that. There you go. All right. So if you would all take your gift and hold it over your heart for what you're planning to share with us, and repeat with me. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me, blessed and multiplied. And so it is. All right. So our Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee relies on you. Our support helps us to keep our center financially sound and enables us to continue serving you now and in the future, both in the time of when we're in sheltering in place. Our operating expenses and staff are still here. So we ask that you donate generously in lots of different ways that you can do this. So thank you for your gifts and donations. We get to have a special treat this morning. Colleen is going to be our musician for our congregational songs. So, Colleen.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So thanks for all my blessings. Give me everything I need. God is my source. God is my blessing. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
So as we gather together our offerings of our time, talent, and treasure, we are grateful for the prosperity that has supported all of us through all of life and this day as we share it with our center. It is with gratitude that we know that all is well with each one here, with our whole congregation, and indeed with the entire CSL community. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. All right. So here we go. So I want to welcome our guests. We have a new guest this morning, Eric. So thank you for joining us. And if you would like to get on our newsletter list, you can leave your name in the chat or call us or call the center to get on the mailing list. And we are one of the most active centers because we have something going on every day of the week, or at least almost. And so I want to welcome our Associate Minister, Reverend Rick Carney, who's going to be sharing our announcements with us this morning.
Thank you very much. As Reverend Pam said, we are very active, and we have a host of things available to you, our community, including this Zoom presentation of our Sunday service, as well as recordings of these talks, which you can find online at YouTube, and links are there on our website and our Constant Contact newsletter on Facebook and on Instagram. Our talk next week is by Reverend Pam, and it's called Just Like Me. In the month of October, we shift into a new theme called Cosmic Connections. And so Reverend Pam will be speaking to that topic. We have a mystery guest to be our musician, a bit like the masked singer you might see on television, but practitioner Carol Delvon will not be wearing a mask. I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that you're taking a timeout, as this referee is signaling, as I'm teaching an online class on Wednesday night. I'm teaching on Tuesday night, and so therefore our Wednesday night gatherings will be out until October 28th. Looking forward to seeing you at that time. I mentioned this, the course I'm teaching is called Spiritual Principles and Practices. We had a great first session last Tuesday, and we are having even more people joining us as it goes. So if you would be interested in taking this course, please reach out to the center, Reverend Pam, or myself. Thank you very much. Something else coming up is the evening of meditation with Deepak Chopra. That is being presented by the international organization Centers for Spiritual Living. Details are there on the CSL.org website. We are having Adopt a Highway in the month of October. That will be on the 17th, and details again can be found in our newsletter. Something Reverend Pam already mentioned is this fundraiser and showing of the movie, The Science of Earnest Mind. Will be accompanied by Dr. Lloyd Tupper, Dr. J. Scott Neal, and Marilyn Leo, and Sue Ruda, who will be engaging in conversation after the film is over, get a chance to ask questions and share your thoughts. Reverend Pam also mentioned our visioning, which will be taking place on November 22nd. There'll be more details as we get closer, but I encourage you to save this day to be part of the event. We also have other ongoing events. Our meditations continue, and classes taking place on Thursday and Friday, Saturday. So please join us for that. And with that, I turn the mic back to Reverend Pam.
Okay. So our one other announcement is that our center is a healing center, and the practitioners are a key part of this. So if all the practitioners would raise your hands, so we've got quite a few here. We've got Nancy O'Neill, Reverend Rick, Shirley Clark that did our meditation this morning is here. Carol Delvon. I'm a practitioner, so anyone that would like prayer, please contact us. You can let us know in the chat or call the center and we'll get you the number for someone. But prayer works, and sometimes when we get lost in our own stuff, it's great to pray with someone else. It makes all the difference for someone to see that truth for us. And so now we're coming up to our closing song, The Face of God. And again, we're blessed that Colleen will be, we're having live music for that. And after that, we'll have our closing affirmation and a time for hospitality. So we'll unmute everyone and we can all talk and share. So, Colleen.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And if you would repeat with me our affirmation. Today, I act in ways that affirm the inherent goodness of all. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Right. So you can all unmute and we'll have a little bit of time to get caught up and what everybody's doing on this beautiful sunny day.
Reverend Pam, can you please stop the recording?
Thank you. I will
Thank you.